and I have a beautiful, lovely guest with me today. We're on Laughter Talks with author Vivi Tran. And so we are going to first, before we start talking, please let me read you a proper introduction. Okay, we want to do that. So I'm in control of all these things. Now, um, this lovely and talented Vivi Tran, I met on Facebook, and she is from Da Nang, Vietnam, and is the author of a book called The Footprints of Her Soul. This is the story of a little girl who was lost among the people she loved the most, her beloved family. And she experienced extreme distress and sorrow through the long road of childhood with poverty, war, and it went into adulthood. She had made hard decisions throughout her lifetime journey, causing heartaches and pain, but she survived it with conviction. Her journey made her the person she is today, and the path she crossed became footprints of her soul. And I just am so proud to know you, Vivi. Thank you so much
You.
for coming to
Thank
join
you.
me today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I love
Thank
it.
you.
And that is why I had reached out to you on Facebook, because I was so impressed when I saw about your book and what you did, and the fact that you're such a positive, happy, vibrant woman. So please,
Thank you.
let me ask you, share your journey with us a little bit that explains your book and your life.
Well, like I have put it in my book that I wrote this one probably more than 10 years ago. The memo, actually, I wrote it as a autobiography of my family, for my grandchildren. But then about a couple of years ago, um, I decided to change it into a memoir so that I can write more in detail.
Hmm.
And so I took all of the autobiography out, because when you write biography, it's different than writing a memoir. So I have changed it to a memoir format. So, and I make mistakes, and I look back, I read back, and I said, that's how I wrote it 12 years ago. My English wasn't all that great at the time. And so I say, I'm just going to keep it, because it's different now when I write my new book. But I left it the way it was. And I'm so happy that people accepted it and see it for what it was. And it's about my childhood in Vietnam, and how hard it was living in the war, and the poverty that went on in my family because of my father. But he redeemed himself. He redeemed himself in his later years.
Oh,
you
that's
know
good.
so yeah, so we all grow up, and we're very tight knit. My family is my whole family, my siblings and I are very close. We are in contact almost daily, and we enjoy each other company. Like they said, um, there's a sentence that I really like, and I had it framed in my wall, that um, circumstances made us sisters, but love make us friends.
Oh, that's
That's it.
beautiful.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of poetry. That's what I saw. You had a poem that you had written about, and I know it touched me in a very unusual way, which my reaction I know surprised you, but
Is it
how
about
was
my
it?
father or my mother?
Yeah,
Is it?
but it was
Yeah.
emotional.
Thank you. Every time I write a poem, it's always have some emotional attached to that. If I look at these trees and I saw something that brought me back to some memory, then I come up with a poem. But the one for my father and my mother, were very emotional for me, because it's their lives that I wrote it in a poem.
Yeah.
each of their lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it touched me in a very personal way,
Thank
from a
you.
different person in my life, but it really did. The words were really incredible.
Thank you.
So, Vivi, I know you have a trailer for your book. Let's stop right now. I would like to show everybody this. It's a little bit, it's a little clip. So everybody just hold on. Let's see it.
Okay.
Wonderful. That is so wonderful that your publisher did that too, so that people could see a little bit about your book and what it's about. Now, how long did it take? You said you were doing it for 10 years, but
I wrote,
you did leave it in the original words, correct?
yes, I wrote it when I was babysitting my first grandson. And my daughter having the second child, and we were talking, and he wouldn't eat. He just said, I don't want to eat this, I don't want to eat that. So I said to him, I said, honey, there's a lot of hungry children in the world, and grandma was one of them. And he was shocked to listen to me, and he said, well, tell me about your life. And so
Ah,
that's how it all started. And that night when he went to bed, I sat and I started writing about my family. And it took a lot of research to find about all my aunts, my uncles, their family, cousin. But that was for the autobiography. And I was just going to write it and leave it. After I'm gone, they can read it. And then I post a little bit on Facebook for my sisters to live, my two little sisters. And they say, you should put it in a memoir so our husband can read it too.
yeah,
Because when you write a memoir, you don't want to put real name, you don't want to put family ties and all that because it's privacy. So
yeah,
I have to take all that out
yeah.
and rewrite it.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
And I'm going to make sure that I get your book because I want to read the story. I did not get a chance to get it yet,
thank
but I
you.
will.
Thank
The
you.
cover is absolutely gorgeous. Who is on that
Thank you.
cover?
Well, I told the publisher that I bought my father a picture, a painting of a woman in a yellow dress with the hair, long because I used to spend a lot of time with my father towards the end of his life, and we walked by this shop, and he just stood there and stared at that photo, and I said, "Is that what you want?" He said, "Yeah, that remind me of your mom." So I
Oh,
bought it for him, and that was 20 some years ago. And that was $500. That's what's my paycheck. But I
wow.
bought it because that's what he wanted. And so when I told the publisher that I want something in that fashion, but I would rather have them flipped it over and just show the back. But you know how, if I want to do that, I have to wait for months for them to do it again. So I just said, fine, and go ahead. But that was for my father in the yellow dress and a long hair girl.
Yeah,
That
that's
was like,
lovely.
well,
Well,
like my mother.
well,
My
she
mother
looks
was
like
beautiful.
you because, well, you look like your mother then because I saw pictures. I was looking and I saw one when you were younger. That's why I asked you because I said, well, that looks like you, but
Yeah,
I doubt that you would have taken that picture when you were that age.
yeah.
So,
Thank you.
but it's
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's a very good choice. It's very personal. It's a beautiful cover.
Yes.
And it
Mm,
must have been, well, I think that for your family, it's a wonderful treasure for your family. I'm so glad you listened to your grandson because to
yeah.
leave the history, and that must
Yes.
have been I can only imagine because what I remember from that time period is that picture of that little girl running in the streets, the girl from Vietnam. She has
Yes.
been
Yes.
affected. And so,
Yes.
that makes us realize how horrible it really was. So,
Yes.
what has helped you to transform? Because you were such a happy person. What is your history spiritually that helped you to enjoy and open?
Well, it took a lot of years because I had to work for 30 years in my life, of my life to retire. And in those years of working, there was a lot of struggle. There was discrimination. There was, a lot of things that going on with my life. But I focus on my job because I had two daughters that I have to raise alone, and I need the medical insurance for them.
Of
It
course.
just it's so
Yeah.
important. So I had to put up with a lot to get through all that. So I took my retirement at 57, and I said, once I got enough time to put in to retire, I won't look back. And I didn't. I had never looked back. And that when I realized that I need to be live for myself now that I don't have to obey order. I don't have to do what people tell me to do. And so I just live my life. And the garden is the one that really, really helped me, because I think I would be so depressed if I don't have my garden.
I'm
I
going to
don't know
show
what
some
it
pictures right now of your garden. When did you
yeah.
start that?
I have it in every house I have ever had. I
Oh,
think because it started when I was little in Vietnam. The war coming up very certain, and when there's a fighting somewhere, the market stop, the school stop, and there's nothing where to go. Even if you have money, you can't buy anything. And I saw my neighbors had a garden of vegetable, so I was about 6 or 8. I was very young. I went over and I said, can I have some seeds? I want to grow my garden. And so she came over and she helped me and she told me what to do, and I did. It's right there where my family walked in every time, but they never seen it. And so one day, the country stopped, abruptly stopped, because of the fighting so heavy, and we couldn't buy anything. So I went out my garden, I picked up tomatoes, vegetable, all kind that I have. I brought it in, and my mother said, did the neighbor give it to us? Where was? I said, it's right there outside. You walk by every day. You just never saw
wow.
it.
They didn't
And
even
so,
see all that.
since then I realized that the earth, give us something to look forward to. It
Yeah.
gives us life if we really know how to nurture it. And so every house I have ever had after that, I always have a garden. And this place where I live is very restricted. They don't allow you to grow vegetable, but during COVID, I did, because they couldn't come by and check on your house. You
Yeah.
see, everybody was confined, and I grow all kind of vegetable so that we can consume, and for my family, and from even sent to California for my family over there.
Yeah.
Then after COVID, I decided just to do flowers for
Yeah.
just
Well, they're
something to
beautiful.
enjoy.
I've been looking at your
Thank you.
flowers. I'm going to show some of
Thank
them
you.
too. They're lovely.
Thank you. I think it's just something. I don't know what it is about trees and me. When I go out there and I look at them, and I love them, and I'm so appreciative of them. And I think the feeling is mutual there, because they grow for me. Whatever I grow, it lives. And something that my family couldn't grow. My sister said, how could you do it? Mine died. I said, I don't know. You just grow, and you make sure you take care of it. You make sure there's no bugs. You make sure, that they have food and all that. And I think I
Viv,
just love
that is a
the
very,
garden
very,
and writing.
yeah,
Yes,
that's a very, just like writing, like you said, it's a very spiritual practice to be
it
in
is.
God's earth, to have
Yes,
hands
it
in the
is.
earth, because that's where we come from
Yes,
and
yes.
go
Hmm.
to. So this wonder,
Yes.
you're such an inspiration,
Oh, thank
because
you.
there are so many people now that are suffering from depression and everything that's happened, and that's
Yes,
a wonderful sentiment to have
yes,
people grow a little garden, get in
yes,
touch with your spiritual
yes.
self.
I mean, it's just such a good feeling when you put a seed and then a few days later you saw a little sprout, and then it come up, and then it gives you food or flowers, beautiful flower.
Wow.
I mean, there's nothing else to compare. I mean, I love garden. I love plants. I love trees. I just love it. I don't know what it is, but
Well,
it just gives me so much
joy. It's
spirit.
joy. You experience
Yes,
joy
yes,
when you're working in
yes,
your garden. Well, that is just amazing. Now, Vivi, before I forget, if people want to reach out to you, contact you or something, how is it that you like to be reached? How can people reach you?
yes. They can. I have a page. It's author Vivi Tran on Facebook. They can ask to follow me there.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
And if people want to purchase your book, tell us how they can
yes.
get your book.
Okay. It is available on Amazon, on Barnes and Noble, on Apple, and I'm in the process of having the Audible book
Oh,
mm, in
good.
place. Because
That's
right now
wonderful.
I'm listening to the narrators and select the voice that can represent me.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's where it is. Probably takes a few more months to get it done. I didn't know it takes so long to get an Audible book
Yeah.
done. You know,
I've
so
never
yeah,
done one of those, so that's good to know. When I start doing that, I'll be prepared to take a while. But you're right, it
yeah,
does take, we probably have to
because they
stop and rest your voice
yeah.
and everything.
Yes, yes. They what they do, they have there are people that looking for work doing narratives. So they send out and people read a little bit and they send to me and I listen and I say, no, I don't like that. I think I want to listen some more of these. And they go out and they get it and then I'll listen and then to find the right one that I feel that best representing my voice. I cannot talk, I cannot read the book myself because
Yeah.
the studio is back east somewhere.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's good to know. That makes sense. Um,
yeah.
and I just everything you say is so inspirational. I just,
Thank
if
you.
if people is that did now you also wait, you also do other things. You do
I
crafts as
saw.
well.
I
You do
saw.
crafts.
Yes, I saw. Well, it's a story too. It
Wow.
started out when my daughter told me that I'm gonna have a grandson. So I living here, and I thought, well, I think all grandma want to do. I want to learn how to sew to make him a quilt. So I joined the sewing club here. And then when I walked in, I saw all this embroidery, all this thing. So I bought a machine and I make quilt for all of my grandchildren, my daughters too. And then I start to sew. And then a friend of mine said, we have a boutique here. Why don't you make something and sell? Because I spend so much money on fabric. I go broke on my fabric. And then I started, and then it become a little business. And most of my products are microwavable. You use it, like say you put a food in your bowl, and you put in that thing I made. It's called the microwavable bowl, and you put in a microwave and you warm it up. And then after that, you lift it, and it doesn't burn your hand.
Oh, wow. You're a very clever lady. You've got
Oh
all
my
these
gosh.
figured out. I love it. Vivi, are most of your family still in Vietnam?
Oh no, all my siblings are here. One of my brother, the one that next to me, he was the joy of my parents, and I feel so bad. He died in the
Oh,
war. He
oh,
died, but mission in action, we could never recover his body. Yeah,
yeah,
in the
that's
summer of
sad.
'72. Yeah, but then most of them are here. I have a brother who lives with me, and then my two sisters, they are married and they live here. And I have a sister in Virginia, and then a sister and a brother in California. We have out of 12 children that they have, there's 7 alive,
Oh,
and they all, here. And
that's
so,
wonderful. You have a big
yeah,
family and they're
yes.
here. That's
all
amazing.
my all my uncles and aunts and on both sides have passed away because if they're alive they would be in their hundreds, so you
Wow.
know Yeah. So
Well, this has been amazing, and I so much appreciate your coming on the show and sharing your
thank
story.
you.
It's inspirational. You're a wonderful, beautiful, vibrant woman. I thank you so much again. And
Thank you.
before we go, I would just like to ask you, what would you like to share to inspire younger people to learn to enjoy their lives? What words of wisdom would you leave?
Well, just let go of the thing that you can control. You just have to let it go. Don't dwell on those things. Jealousy is no good. Just have to accept everything come your way. And if it's good, you take it. If it's bad, then walk away. That's where your you have peace within yourself. And you don't think about if somebody says something a nice not pleasing to the ears, you listen and you smile and you just let it go. Let it out of your mind.
Enjoy your life, much success, continued happiness, and I will hopefully see you again to catch up on
Thank you.
what you're doing next.
Oh, yes. Once
Thank you.
I'm getting my book ready, we will talk again. I
Okay,
still have halfway to go.
we absolutely will. Now, everybody, make sure that you subscribe as this is going by. And Vivi, I love you. I'll see you soon.
I love you too.
Have a
Bye.
good day. Bye.
Love you too. Okay.